Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green and Steve Shanley, back after a week off.
Yes, week off. Very relaxing, fun week in Aspen, Colorado. Being able to see Vivian work with Christian McBride, so that was very, very cool, and very grateful to Dan for stepping in. Not so grateful to him for having such an awesome idea to have Christmas in July with a very, very popular concert and appearance of Santa Claus. Not grateful that he had such the great idea that I did not have, but I know the audience loved it, and I'm glad he was able to fill in and have such a nice program.
Week 9, it's over.
Can't believe it. But
yeah,
it
summer
by,
is over.
Yes. But we're going to end, as usual, with a bang and with something a little bit new, our first ever bagpipe soloist.
Whoa!
Yes. So my friend Beth Davies this spring, we were hanging out, and she told me that, and she plays clarinet in the band. She's band director at Regis, and she told me that she had started taking bagpipe lessons. And I said, wait a minute, there's someone in Cedar Rapids who teaches bagpipe? She said, yeah, Stuart Barr, he's great. And I said, do you think he might like to play something with the band? And she said, oh, I bet he would. So I emailed him, and he was very excited. He knew right away that the bagpipes they have a little bit different intonation than woodwind and brass instruments. So he went out and bought a different adjustment so he could make sure he was in tune with us. And so yes, we're very excited to have our first ever bagpipe feature on some familiar Scottish melodies that gave me an excuse to do a little bit more writing for the band.
Now, a few weeks ago, we were talking about piccolo polkas, and I learned that there are lots of piccolo polkas for concert band. Are there a lot of bagpipe features for concert band?
There are not. That's why I ended up needing to write some for it. And there are lots of bagpipe bands where it's lots of bagpipe players and percussion. But no, not a lot of pieces written for concert band to feature the bagpipes.
Okay, so you, of course, are a well-known composer and arranger, but I'm guessing that probably not an expert in Scottish folk music?
No, just basically what I have played. A lot of Scottish folk music has been adapted for concert bands to play.
Okay, so that would be your familiarity.
That's really
about
it for my familiarity. So it was nice.
I just wondered where you go to find. Okay, if I want I want the best Scottish folk music I could find, how you would ascertain what the good ones were.
Well, and Stuart was very helpful. He sent me a big list of, here are some of the pieces I know, and he divided them into slow airs and 3/4 marches, 4/4 marches, 6/8 marches, and he said, I think any of these would work, and so going through and listening to those, he gave me a really excellent starting point. So I didn't just have to type in Scottish music into Google and go from there.
So what did the piece end up where, what pieces were your inspiration pieces?
Well, that's going to be a surprise.
Oh,
Dennis,
okay.
But
all right. No spoilers.
I promise that you will recognize some of the music that you hear. But yes, right. You'll have to come and be surprised on that, and we'll tell you a little about the pieces at the concert as well. Also, I thought would be fun to end the season with a piece that we did a while back, and then Orchestra Iowa performed this last year, the Don Zone No. 2 by Arturo Marquez. And I went to that concert, Orchestra Iowa, this past spring, where they performed that. And I thought, we haven't done that in 6 or 7 years. That would be a fun one to pull out. There's a nice band arrangement of that, and it's pretty demanding, but last time we played it, the band loved it and the audience loved it, so that's a very, very cool piece. I encourage you to check that out if you haven't. Don Zone No. 2. Gustavo Dudamel, the conductor of the Los Angeles Philharmonic, who's moving to the New York Phil, that was sort of his theme song with the youth orchestra that he was conducting that sort of brought him notoriety and fame, and that brought the Marquez music kind of to the mainstream here in America, and especially that piece. So some fun video out there of Dudamel conducting these little kids just tearing it up on the Marquez Don Zone. So check that out as well. We've got a medley of music. I was looking through the library, kind of trying to find a fun Broadway or film medley, and came across selections from Annie and realized, and this is really outstanding music. And I haven't listened to these songs in maybe a couple of decades, but like they still really stand up from just a craft standpoint. So a cool medley of music from Annie. I think I mentioned I was going to be curious when I programmed Wicked if anyone would still recognize it or care about it. And sure enough, they did. So I'm hopeful that there are still families who are introducing their kids to the great music from Annie as well. And then we're also featuring, we have our final young artist runner-up. Charlotte Ottemoeller is an alto saxophone player, just graduated from Kennedy High School, and she is playing the second and third movements of the Mio Scaramouche, which is, now you might think, okay, contemporary French saxophone, like I'm sure I'm not going to like that. And I'll be honest, most of the time you would be right to make that guess. But Scaramouche, super, super cool. It's fun. It's got a nice Latin kind of samba vibe to it, and she played that at the Young Artist Competition auditions this spring, and the whole panel was just knocked out and thought for sure that she needed a chance to play that with the band. So we're excited about that as well.
All right. Well, another thrill-packed pair of concerts to end the season, and what locations are we going to end up with?
So we'll be at Noelridge on Wednesday at 7:30, and then we'll finish up August 6th, 7:30 at Bever Park. And that one, I'll be bringing some cookies and beverages for the band. So if you're in the park and you see the coolers and the cookies,
leave them alone.
I'm sorry, it's for the band. So yes.
Well, it's always fun to hear about the concerts, but I also learned so much about music and music history when you walk us through the concerts every week. So thank you again for taking the time to come out here every week and give us a little preview of these concerts, and we'll see you in the off season.
And thanks to you and KCCK for helping spread the word about this great band here in Cedar Rapids.
Thanks again, Steve.
Thanks, Dennis.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio many weekdays at 10:30, or download the podcast, watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture, or using your favorite podcast app. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.